I wonder why it's called Judge Eyes in Japan. Oh, shit!
俺のこの目、こいつは人が善人か悪人かまるで見分けられないんですよ。
For the sake of avoiding spoilers, I'll mostly be using early game footage, primarily from Chapter 1. Judgment is the latest game by the Ryuga Gotoku studio, and takes place in the same universe as Yakuza, where you travel around Kamurocho based on the real-world Kabukicho. The story stars Takayuki Yagami, a disgraced lawyer turned detective who winds up getting involved in a case of serial killings happening within Kamurocho. Yakuza have been winding up with their eyes gouged out. There isn't a whole lot of the story I can actually speak on without spoiling it. The story is great, it's really strong, full of twists and turns and mystery. Even when I found myself on the right track of where the story was heading, it always found some way to keep me guessing on where it was going to go next. The game's supporting cast is really strong, and featuring some of my favorites such as Best Girl Saori Shirosaki, and Best Not Kiryu Masaharu Kaito. If you had not played a Yakuza game before, I would recommend this as a strong starting point to jump into the series at. It does a great job at introducing you to the world while not continuing an ongoing story, although you can start off with zero if you wish. The gameplay is more or less what you'd expect from Yakuza. Yagami feels a lot heavier than Kiryu does, however his motions are a lot more fluid, and you can definitely see that added weight in the power of his attacks. The heat system has been changed to X gauge and X moves. You don't go to law school just to use heat. Lawyers and detectives use X. Cops will arrive to arrest you if you spend too long in a single fight. However, this isn't really an issue and you have to actively draw out a fight in order to get the police to arrive while you're in combat. However, X moves are just as brutal as any of the heat moves that Kiryu can dish out. It's a good thing Yagami is established as a great lawyer, because after all the people he has assuredly sent to the intensive care unit, there's no way he's not getting sued after this game ends. Yagami uses two fighting styles, Crane and Tiger style. Crane is meant for taking on multiple enemies at once, while Tiger is designed for fighting single enemies. However, I felt Tiger was just better to use more often than not. I had no issues taking on crowds with Tiger style, and most enemies could be taken down easily enough. Any chance of them overpowering me wasn't too high until later in the game. There were times where Crane did have the outright advantage over Tiger, however those were very few in number. Aside from the Yakuza style combat, there's a lot more Yagami can do as a private eye, such as tailing targets, chasing down suspects, investigating scenes, picklocking, and deploying a drone for surveillance. Tailing is rather simple, although in later chapters it starts to get a lot more difficult. You follow your targets through the busy city streets, and they'll often suspect that somebody is watching them. Being in their line of sight or making noise will increase their suspicion, and increasing that to the maximum will result in a game over with a scene of them confronting you. Later in the game, you'll have missions where you're tailing a target who is with multiple people, or somebody who will walk around in patterns to throw off tailers. And these later missions bring a lot more to the tailing system, though I feel like there should have been separate suspicion requirements for targets who have never seen Yagami's face. Feels like they're able to pick him out of a crowd a bit too easily when they've never met him before. The chase scenes are actually really fun, although they took some getting used to for me. I wasn't fully aware that you didn't control the forward movement of Yagami, and ended up making a few mistakes where I was kind of fumbling around with the controls, always trying to keep him moving forward, which was my own mistake. But once I learned that you only need to control his side movements and use the inputs for the QuickTime events, I started having a lot more fun with these scenes. Although I'm not sure you can actually fail these, there were a few times where I just fumbled on the QTEs a lot, but still managed to catch up to the target. In investigation mode, there's only one important thing you need to know: cats. Crime and justice can wait. We all know what's truly important, and so does Yagami, and that's looking for cats. During most of the investigations, you'll hear a meowing going on in the background, and it'll only get louder the closer you are to it. Finding cats will award bonus skill points. Drone investigations are rather similar, except you're flying drones. There's also drone races, but I didn't really touch that one aside from one of the dates. I was honestly expecting lockpicking to happen more in this game and be more of a focus. However, there were very few scenes where you needed to pick any locks. There are two types of lockpicking: traditional lockpicking where you line up the pins with the shear lines, and some term bypasses. I kept forgetting this was something you can actually do in this game. The scenes where you need to do so for the story are very few and far between. There is a friendship event later on where you can take on locksmithing jobs when you'd like to earn a little extra cash. Unlike Kiryu, who turns money into skills and passive abilities, Yagami can learn skills through the in-game smartphone app, Kamuro Go. Taking part in the community, eating at restaurants, defending yourself against thugs and yakuza, and completing story events will award you an SP through the app, and you can select which skills you wish to level up. Honestly, I wish this app was real. I'd love to earn skill points from my city to invest in doing better punches and kicks and increasing my combo speed. Side content in this game comes in the form of friendship events, where you befriend the people of Kamurocho and help them out with their daily struggles, whether it be running a restaurant, learning a language, or just making their way through the city. There is also side cases not related to the main story. I wanted to power through the main story after about midway through the game so I can get this video out a lot faster. I just kept finding myself so drawn into these side cases. I was having so much fun exploring the city and finding out what was going on with everybody and learning everybody's stories. This was a really immersive experience. There's also the little things, little touches that probably aren't even considered during development that really make me enjoy games. When I can do silly things such as being this guy, or even being this guy. These are the little things I just eat up.
そうです。バーテンダー。
And this, we're doing this now, are we? I love puns. This is a game that I can strongly recommend to anybody. It is fully worth the full price, although the game's price is already dropping, so it's even more worth it if you haven't already bought this game. Seriously, if you like action games or if you like detective stories at all, give this a try. This is one of my favorite games of this year so far.